Hey, what's up, guys? Shawn Wilson here with the Liberty Bell. Hope you're having a great week. It is time for 5 Minute Friday. Welcome back. It's been a couple weeks since we've done one of these. Super excited because I've got a really good topic I'm ready to break down on you. But did you check out our last video, the coverage of Tuesday's midterm elections? We did a video on it. We're gonna link it below, but you can also right now go to the libertybell.com and check out that video. Give my 5 thoughts on coming out of the election, what it looks like, and really, my takeaways from Tuesday's election. So go to the website, thelibertybell.com, check that out. I think you'll like it. And if you don't, cool. Share it with us. Tell us why you don't like it. That's cool with me. Shout out to all our veterans out there. Appreciate all the hard work, the sacrifice that you've given for our country. I have so many friends who have spent time defending our land, defending our freedoms, defending our Constitution. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your life and your sacrifice. For many of you who've given your lives and your families who've given their family life up for the sake of liberty. So thank you so much to our veterans out there. I tip my hat to you. We would not be able to do what we do if it wasn't for you. So thank you very much. I appreciate you greatly, and my family appreciate you greatly. So 5 Minute Friday, my friends, thank you for coming and checking it out. Let me just give you a heads up. Next week, next Friday, which I think is the 18th. What is today? Yeah, the 18th, Friday, November the 18th, we will do a live broadcast of the 5 Minute Friday. We're actually probably just going to change it and call it the 55-Minute Friday because I think we're going to go an hour. I think we're going to do it. So we will set a time to broadcast that. I think it's going to be around 11 o'clock. We'll go to 12 and hopefully be able to interact with you. We'll take questions. We'll do all that kind of fun stuff and dive into some cool things. So hopefully you'll tune in. We'll let you know. So if you don't follow us on social media, you need to follow us because that's where you're going to learn exactly what time and how to tune in. So do me a favor. Subscribe to our Facebook page, of course, but also subscribe here at YouTube, Rumble, wherever you may be seeing this video. Subscribe, like, share, all that kind of good stuff. That helps us grow, but it also lets us connect with you because we've got some folks we like to connect with as well. So please do that for us. And so you can tune in next week. Working on a pretty cool guest for the Shawn Wilson Show in the next couple of weeks. I know the holidays are coming up, so it might be kind of hard. We might have to do it in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But if I can fit it in, I think you're going to like this guy. Hopefully him and his brother, which would be cool. So I'm not going to give any details, but trust me, it's a good one. So 5 Minute Friday. Now that I've got all that out of the way, all right, let me take a deep breath, take my drink. Shout out to Panera Bread for the Sip Club. If you haven't done that, you need to. It's really good. These charged lemonades are fantastic. So let's dive in. Elon Musk and national divorce. Some of you have known this was coming for a while, really the national divorce side of things, but the Elon Musk, how does Elon fit into this? Well, I don't know if you saw this, but a couple of days ago, right after, when was this? Let me pull this, November 9th, so a day after the election, this interesting headline and this interesting exchange happened with the president. I think was it a speech? He was giving some kind of speech or something. Anyway, I want to read the headline to you. Biden asked whether Elon Musk is a threat to national security, says relationships worth being looked at. I want to read this to you. This is on Fox Business because, I'm not a big fan of Fox News, but this is the only one that's really covering this interesting exchange the president had with a reporter. A reporter asked Biden whether Musk take over Twitter with Saudis posed a threat to national security. President Biden on Wednesday said Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter and his technical relationship with other countries should be looked at. Okay, we'll address that in a second. Though he would not say the social media platform CEO is doing anything wrong. During a press conference at the White House, a reporter asked Biden if he thought Elon Musk was a threat to U.S. national security and whether the joint acquisition of Twitter with foreign governments like Saudi Arabia should be investigated. I want to read this and then I want to come back and address a few things. Biden paused for a moment because he didn't know what to say. This is not in there. Biden paused for a moment and laughed, appearing to collect his thoughts because, you have to do that when you're mentally incapable of holding the position you currently hold. Side note, this is quote, I think Elon Musk cooperation and or technical relationships with other countries, this isn't in there, is worthy of being looked at, he said, pausing several times throughout this statement. So he probably said it more like this. Elon Musk cooperation and technical Scranton, but I hairy legs. Okay, all right, I'll stop. I'm sorry. The president went on further to say, whether or not he's doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's worth being looked at. Musk took over Twitter at the end of October. Immediately after taking the helm, he fired top executives and thousands of employees began to change the company's business strategy. So I want to go back up here, and then I want to address the elephant in the room. So let's start again. President Biden on Wednesday said Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter and his technical relationship with other countries should be looked at. Really? Okay. So should Joe Biden's son and his relationships with, I don't know, what is that country? Oh, the Ukraine. That's it. Should his business dealings be looked at? Because I know, wasn't it Twitter, one of the companies that censored that story? I don't know. When was it? Oh, before the 2020 election. And wasn't that one of the things that I think, what was it? A huge percent, I think it's like 60% of people who voted in a poll conducted about whether they would change their vote after learning that this was a true story would have voted against Biden, instead would have voted for Trump or a third party had they known about it. Okay, all right. Though he would not say if the social media platform CEO was doing anything wrong. What is he doing wrong? So the only reason the administration is coming after Elon Musk, and look, I'm not the biggest fan. I think he's cool. I think it's awesome that this dude has made billions of dollars and essentially is living the modern American dream. I don't necessarily think the modern American dream is the actual one our founders had in mind, but that's beside the point. What has Elon Musk done wrong except gone against the culture and the administration? We have a culture of death in America. We have a culture of darkness, of evil, of wickedness, of lies. It's not a culture built on truth. I mean, for God's sakes, people, we have people who legitimately think that a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man. It's biologically impossible. It's physiologically impossible. It is on a cellular DNA level impossible. Not but impossible. You can't do it. I don't care what you do to your body. You can cut it up, slice it up, stick it up. I don't care what you do. You can't become a woman if you're a dude, and you can't become a dude if you're a woman. It just doesn't happen. I know we like to tell people it does, but it doesn't. You have a mental disorder and you need help, and there are people who can help you. Anyway, so let's keep going. During a press conference at the White House, the reporter asked if he thought Elon Musk was a threat to national security. Time out. Okay. I know I get in trouble all the time for connecting the dots because most people stay behind the curve on the dots, right? So a lot of people are still on dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And some of us who've seen what's coming are on dots 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm not saying that's because I'm better or some of us are better than others or what have you. What I am saying is that this is no accident, okay? The speeches the president has given as of late, the tone of the administration, the tone of the culture is this. If you don't agree with us, if you don't fall in line with our agenda, if you don't submit to our way of thinking, you are a threat and you must be dealt with. How do they deal with people? Well, they lock them up. They imprison them. They ruin them. They assassinate their character. They essentially deplatform them. They get them fired. All of these things, right? That's a problem because you don't live in a free country if your ideas cannot be expressed in the public square. Okay. So you may disagree what I say, and that's totally okay. We can have the debate, right? We can have the debate on whether a man can become a woman or a woman can become a man, or whether Republican presidents are better than Democratic presidents, or whether the Republican Party has better ideas than the Democratic Party. That's up for debate on both of them. Constitutionalist or libertarian, I think, is really where it should be. But those are all up for debate. Which foreign policy of interventionism or non-interventionism? We can debate that, right? But we can't look at people and go, you are a threat to security of our nation because you disagree with me. That makes no sense. That you don't live in a free country. You know what you live in? You live in Russia or Germany or North Korea or China when it comes to that. And that's where they want us to live. Don't make no mistake about it. This is about tyranny. And I know I preach that all the time. And I know people think I'm crazy, or they like to call me conspiracy theorist. But at the end of the day, this is about freedom and liberty or tyranny. There is no other ground. It's not Republican and Democrat. It's not left or right. It's liberty and freedom or enslavement and tyranny. That's it. What's making you more free? What's enslaving you? That's it. And so when we have people who promote the idea that because I may be a constitutional conservative Republican or libertarian or whatever, that I'm somehow a threat to the administration, to the culture. No, I'm not. I mean, if that's the case, then George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Sam Adams, John Hancock, Benjamin Rush, I could keep going, would all be threats to the modern American establishment. That's a fact, because they were small government guys. They were less government, more freedom. They were personal responsibility. They were God should take an active role in our life as a nation. They were immorality is a problem, and if we are an immoral people, we can't be free. So if that's your standard, then yes, we are a threat to your establishment, absolutely. But we have a problem when the president of the United States, if this was Donald Trump saying this about Jack, what was Jack's last name? The guy who stoned Twitter. I'm brain fart over here. But if that was President Trump saying that about Jack Dorsey, every news media outlet in the world would be freaking out. But because it's Joe Biden, because it's Democrats, because it's radical leftists, because it's Hillary Clinton denying the election or what have you, it's totally okay because we don't fall in line with them. That's a problem, folks. It's a huge problem. Let me keep going on. During the press conference at the White House, blah, 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 he thought, a reporter asked if Biden thought that Musk was a threat to national security and whether the joint acquisition of Twitter with foreign governments like Saudi Arabia should be investigated. Okay. Are we going to investigate the Bushes? Are we going to look at the George W. Bush and his ties to not only Saudi Arabia before 9/11, but the bin Laden family? Can we talk about that? Oh, you probably didn't know about that, did you? Did you know that George W. Bush, 2 days after, maybe 3 days after 9/11, had the whole bin Laden family, I'm talking bin Laden's brothers and families and relatives, flown out of the country for their safety? Did you know that? Did you know that George W. Bush had deep, and he still has deep ties into the Saudi Arabian government with oil, dealing with oil? Did you know that? But and here's the deal: we're supposed to believe the official theory of 9/11 is that 19 Saudi Arabian hijackers did what they did on September 11th, 2001, and yet we went to war in Iraq and Afghanistan because a guy who was on kidney dialysis and was in a Dubai American hospital on 9/11 and was interviewed by the CIA that very day, who said, "I did not have anything to do with this," was blamed for 9/11, and yet we never addressed the Saudi Arabian connection. I don't know. You tell me where I'm wrong here, because that's all verifiable fact. Let's go back to the quote for the president. Then I want to talk about national divorce, and then I want to get you all out on your Friday. Biden said this quote: "I think Elon Musk cooperation and or technical relationship with other countries is worth being looked at. Whether or not he's doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's being worth looked at." Okay. Because Elon Musk does not fall in line with the administration, with the current culture of death and tyranny, anything he does is under the watchful eye of Big Brother. Why? because he doesn't fall in line. And let me just be 100% clear. Let me connect some dots for you. 87,000 new IRS agents. What are they there for? Oh, they're administrative. No, they don't. In the leading up to the last, I don't know, 5 years, the United States government has bought a tremendous amount of bullets and weapons um, from different manufacturers. One of those organizations being the IRS has bought a tremendous amount of weapons. Why? What a what a bunch of administrators need for guns. Also, why do they need 87,000 new IRS agents? Because what they're looking for is look at what the president says here. I think Elon's cooperation and or technical relationship with other countries is worth being looked at. Whether or not he's done anything inappropriate, whether or not he's done anything inappropriate. I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting it's being worth looked at. Okay, so let's go back to the President Trump's essentially invasion of privacy at Mar-a-Lago. What you had there was this administration going and they're looking for things to get Trump in trouble. And this is the one thing that Trump is either tremendously good at hiding, the things that he's done that no one apparently can find, or he's not doing anything and they're looking. Okay, so Trump they've tried, oh, Russia collusion, oh, this, oh, that, oh, he's stolen documents. You notice it's not even in the news anymore because it wasn't a big deal. He really didn't have anything, and he's allowed to have certain things as if he's declassified them. And from what it all looks and sounds like, he did declassify those things that he had. But it doesn't matter because they're painting a picture in the culture of if you're not falling in line with us, you're a threat. And so if you don't get you're a threat. If you don't do this and fall in line and believe this, you're a threat. So I know people think, oh, well, I don't know about that, Shawn, but that's exactly what's happening. And so what you have is they're saying we're going to look at Trump. I mean, they're not just saying it, they're doing it. They're saying we're going to look at Elon Musk. Do you think for 5 seconds they're not going to look at you? Do you think for a New York minute that they're not going to look at you? 87,000 new IRS agents to do what? To go after rich people? Rich people have, let me just tell you this. I've sat down with rich people and talked about taxes. They know how to legally hide money, okay? Legally use the tax code to get rid of it and not pay taxes. And let me just tell you, I want to learn every bit of it because I don't want to pay taxes either. They're looking for you. It's not about Elon Musk, folks. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about you, the American person, the American citizen, the individual. Because here's the deal. What do you have to do to be labeled an insurrectionist in this country? Okay, let's be clear. 75 to 100 people breached the Capitol building on January 6, 2020. That's it. That's about how many people were in the actual building. They are going through video surveillance, people who have said they were there, and they're contacting them and harassing them. People who were not even in the building, people who were just there. That's happening. You think for a minute they're not going to come after you they're looking for a reason to make you a prisoner, make you fall in line. They want you to know that they're coming. Which brings me to the idea of national divorce. Now, I've talked about this. I actually wrote an article on the Liberty Bell about national divorce and legal secession. I'm a huge proponent of secession. I think Abraham Lincoln was 1,000% wrong that this union is some kind of sacred bond that we have with each other. It's not. It's a bond built on this document, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. This is the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, which is violated repeatedly by the federal government. Repeatedly. And at the end of the day, in our founding documents, we are told it is our right. No, it is our duty to find other forms of government when this current form of government has become a dictatorship. It's become tyrannical. It's become useless to our pursuit of liberty. So on Tuesday night, I was watching the election returns come in, like most of you, and the talk of national divorce. I was watching The Blaze with Glenn Beck and Michael. What's Michael's name? Totally lost it. Anyway, uh, they were talking about national divorce. So there's a lot of people there. I think Chad Prather, a couple other guys, and they're talking about national divorce. Tom Woods has a great uh, ebook that you can get for free, which I'll link below, on national divorce. Don Livingston uh, with the Abbeville Institute talks about national divorce all the time, and he's got great insight into it. My friends, Democrats and Republicans have both been polled on this. They've talked about national divorce. We are speeding towards it. And at this point, I think we need to have a very real and very serious conversation. Is the current government useful to the advancement of liberty? I would say no. I would say no. I would say this government is not working for the people. It is not a government of the people, by the people, or for the people. It is a government for bureaucracy, mega corporations, stealing our money, shipping our men and women over to foreign lands to have them killed for what? For what? All of these things are taking place. This government has become illegitimate. And it is time that we stopped pretending that the United States is some kind of sacred landmass that should not reevaluate our relationship with Washington, D.C. I would be 100% okay if Texas said, hey, we're out. And if I'm governor of Louisiana, I'm like, Texas, hey, bro, we're in. Tell us what we need to do to be a part of the Republic of Texas. We need to have this, because all secession is, all it is the debate on borders. Who has the legal right in this realm? It's a jurisdictional idea, okay? It's not war. We don't have to go to war. That's a Lincolnian idea. We have to enforce boundaries by war in our own land when we're built on liberty. We can tell the federal government, you can stick it where the sun don't shine. And we should. But the problem is we don't have leaders who are brave enough to do it. Now, I think some are, but some are all about, well, we got to protect the land. We're the superpower in the world. And I get that. And we can still do that with having less federal overreach. So, my friends, matter of fact, on Tuesday, there was a plane circling the state capitol in Texas with the words Texit on it. It's coming, I believe is what it said. National divorce, when you have irreconcilable differences, okay, when you have differences that you cannot come back, when one spouse cheats on another, there's biblical grounds for divorce, okay? We have biblical grounds for national divorce. And what I mean by that is the federal government and a lot of state governments have broken away from their biblical realms of authority, okay? Because God is a God of authority, and he's got boundaries and rules and laws, okay? We get the whole idea that our land is a land of laws from the Bible, okay? The federal government has repeatedly violated our trust, I should say, repeatedly raped our land, raped our resources, cheated, stolen, killed, all of these things. We have biblical and legal grounds to separate or to limit their ability to have any amount of control. Look, the Constitution doesn't outline what you and I have rights to. It limits the federal government. It is a negative document. Essentially, it changed the federal government to what it can and cannot do. If you want to talk context on what they can and cannot do, read the Founding Fathers' words, study the documents. It's all there. We need to have, and I mean we need to have this conversation on a political governors, senators, city council members, House of Representatives in your state house. They need to be having this conversation. This does not need to be backdoor in some pub down the street from the Capitol building. It needs to be debated in state houses around the country, and it needs to have coverage. We need to talk about the role of potentially pulling from Washington, D.C.'s overreach. And I'm not kidding about it. I'm very serious. I want to get a couple people on who will discuss that on my show, because this is a threat. Your liberty is at stake here. Okay. Your livelihood is at stake. Your ability to provide for yourself is at stake, and provide for your family is at stake here. Because if the government can come in and say, you're going to get a jab, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, or you're not going to work, you're not free. You're not free to do anything. And that is exactly what we've seen in the last 2.5 years. So, my friends, we need to have the conversation. We need to have it here. We need to have it in this Thanksgiving. You need to be talking about it around the table. We need to be having it in our churches. We need to be having it in our state houses. We need to be having it in our city council meetings. Heck, we need to be having it in our school board meetings, because it'll affect school boards as well. Look, you need to talk to the dog catcher in your town about whether or not we should be having a national divorce from, Washington, D.C., because at the end of the day, it's coming. We cannot reconcile with people whose ideological differences with us are so extreme. They're literally worldview, which is the core of who you are, different. I'm telling you, most people who are radical leftists do not agree with this document. This is the Declaration of Independence. They don't agree with it. Matter of fact, they would say all these men down here are horrible, racist people. Except it's because they don't know history. Most radical progressive leftists think the Constitution is irrelevant. They think the Bill of Rights is wrong. They think the Declaration of Independence is wrong. We can't meld together. So we need to separate. We need to have this conversation. And we need to do it now. So, my friends, let's have this conversation. Share your thoughts in the comments below. It's Friday. Hope you're having a great week so far. I had a great week. I had a fantastic week. Going into the weekend, I'm going to go spend some time with my family this afternoon. Tomorrow, we have no games. It's going to be beautiful here in South Louisiana. I'm looking forward to it. You guys have a great week. Be looking at our Facebook page to connect for next week's episode, where we're going to go live. We're going to talk for about an hour. Want you to be a part of that. Come check it out. And until next time, until next week, have a great weekend. Take care, guys.